Good morning. I'm Deborah Bennett, Senior Program Officer with the Polk Brothers Foundation and Treasurer of the Chicago Low-Income Housing Trust Fund Board of Directors. Based on the hard-to-argue-with belief that people should not have to choose between rent and other basic needs like food, the Trust Fund has made a major impact on the City of Chicago's supply of affordable housing in its 23-year history, providing the equivalent of $48,000 annual subsidies to Chicago's lowest-income tenants. The Trust Fund began with a nest egg of $3.2 million garnered from a settlement with the developer of Presidential Towers. Today, the Trust Fund dedicates $15 million per year to assist some 2,900 households through the rental subsidy program and is one of the largest city housing trust funds in the country, both in terms of number of units and disbursements. Chicago is one of 30 such trust funds that provides rental assistance and only one of 5 that serves households earning below 30% of their area's median income. The trust fund model works to encourage diversity in a building. We will fund a maximum of 1/3 of the units in any building, and 57% of the properties that participate in the rental subsidy program have only one subsidy. The trust fund works to develop a diverse portfolio with 32% of the buildings participating being single-family, 2 flats, and 3-unit properties. 36% of the units subsidized contain 2 or more bedrooms. More than half of the tenants, 54%, earn 15% or less of the area's median income. For a family of 4, their gross household income is below $11,370. 53% of the residents are female, 35% are children, and nearly 2/3, 65% of households are African American. The Chicago Low-Income Housing Trust Fund has broad and deep geographic reach in the city, with affordable units in 55 of the 77 community areas and at least 50 units in 17 of those communities. You can see here the spread of those units throughout the city. And the trust fund's ripple effects have extended far beyond Chicago. It helped to start a national wave of similar organizations, which numbered 35 when we began in 1989. By 2011, there were 719. Despite our impact and the dent that we have made, the need persists and grows even greater as the cost of housing rises, incomes of the working poor slide downward, and the shortage of affordable rentals is exacerbated by the foreclosure crisis of the last 4 years. Nationwide, the numbers are stark. Between 2001 and 2009, the percentage of very low-income renters who received no governmental support and paid more than half of their incomes in rent rose by 42%. The homeless population in the U.S. rose 3% between 2008 and 2009 alone, by 20,000 people. And the number of homeless families rose 4%, an increase of 3,200 households. The picture isn't any different across our home state of Illinois. In 1 year alone, foreclosures were up 30% between 2008 and 2009. The number of households doubling up in housing rose 15%, and the number of households paying more than half of their income to cover housing costs shot up 10%, all the while the income of the average working poor family fell by 4%. And the city of Chicago? We are short nearly 131,000 affordable housing units, a 10% increase since 2005, having lost 17,000 public housing units from 2000 to 2010, 7,000 project-based Section 8 units between 1995 and 2005, and more than 100 low-income housing tax credit properties between 2006 and 2011. More than 3/4 of households earning less than $35,000 a year pay more than 30% of their income towards their housing. The many stakeholders we work with see the trust fund as one of the strongest counterweights to these sobering statistics. Property owners, managers alike want to see the trust fund continue and expand. They appreciate the funding mechanism that ties subsidies to the property, as it promotes tenant stability and responsibility, and they see the arrangement as a partnership between the trust fund, property owners, tenants, and in many cases, social service providers. Unanimously, they see the Chicago Low-Income Housing Trust Fund as crucial to keeping vacancy rates low, eviction rates even lower, and the quality of residential community for tenants high. Ultimately, this allows property owners and managers to be financially stable while encouraging tenants to stay longer and take care of their apartments. For tenants, the stability that affordable rental housing provides leads to stability in other spheres of their life. A fixed address enables the household to get their legs underneath them and point it towards a decent job, and leads to better health outcomes for them and their children. A place to call home creates better educational opportunities for their children, as they are able to focus on their studies and not have to worry about where they'll be living next month or where their next meal is coming from. From the standpoint of the social service providers, a home gives their clients the stability to make and keep appointments and plan for the future. They can offer a more comprehensive approach, communicate with clients more dependably, and in some cases, deliver services on site. Perhaps most importantly, stable housing also enables tenants to reconnect with their families, parents to children, grandparents to grandchildren, parents to struggling young adults, or young adults to struggling parents. The people in this room, all of you, work to make these positive outcomes possible, and we honor you for your efforts and your commitment. This room is comprised of stakeholders in Chicago's future: the property owners, the property managers, the community developers, the builders, the service providers, and the policymakers that are part of the web that provides the foundation of our neighborhoods. We thank you for your time and your efforts and your commitment to building healthy, stable, and safe communities for this melting pot that we call Chicago and that we know is our home.